guys, so I just want to make this video to talk to you about cranial sacral therapy, which is a therapy that I've been working on with Tink. So it can be used in adjunct with myofascial techniques. Back up. So what I like about it is when you're doing myofascial techniques, not only are we working with the muscles with the myofascial techniques, we're also using trigger points to release the muscle, and we're actually using points of the muscle stand and following the muscle down, and also opening the fascia by pulling it. So what happens is when you're working and your muscle gets really tight, so if you think about a muscle, it is usually elongated against the bone and against the tendons, but when it is stretched all the way up, it turns into this big balloon, and it's very painful, and it doesn't go back down. And then what the fascia does is the fascia actually constricts the muscle. So when I'm doing fascial work and I'm sitting here doing trigger points and also lengthening the fascia, I'm opening up that muscle so that fascia can be it can loosen. Now if you think of a piece of chicken, when you have a piece of chicken and you're taking it out of the package, that consistency on top, it's like a thin like a piece of, like, I would say clear cellophane. That is the fascia. So that's what we're working with. So when I'm doing myofascial, stop, he's not listening. So when I'm doing myofascial release techniques, I want to start at the pole area because there are huge muscles up here. Now this is also the cranium, okay? So I want to start up here. Same thing with cranial sacral release. Same thing we're going to do is cranium, the cranial sacral release is a little different than myofascial release, where we're using energy. I'm using my hands. I'm grounding. I'm sitting here and I'm conjoining my heart center with his. I'm creating that safe space where I can sit there and go into his energy, and I'm going to have 3 different types of energy consisting around me. I'm going to have, first of all, I'm going to have a connecting field, and then I'm going to have a midfield, and then I'm going to have a wide field. And within those fields, I want to sit there and connect with Tink and see where does he need the most, trying to think of the word, what muscle group needs to be worked on at this point in time. Back up, stop. So if I was working with a client, I would have them obviously hold the horse, and then I would start in the head, and I would work my way. But most of the time we're going to start at the cranial area. I'm going to sit here and put my hand on the front of his face over here, work on his occipital bone, and then I'm going to have my hand underneath here, underneath by the masseter muscle, working there, and I'm seeing how the energy goes through my fingers, feeling for the fluidity, feeling for the bones, feeling for the movement, and seeing the connection between the horse. So when we're doing, like I said, the cranial sacral work, it works in conjoint with also the myofascial release, because a lot of horses are used in the ring, and they are being asked to basically dressage movements where they're taking their head and they're asked to put their head down, and it's more of a collected response. Another situation that you'll find is, let's say you're trailering your horse. A lot of times that they can get problems on the top of their head from trailering because they're pulling. When a horse actually is on cross ties, and you have both cross ties here and they're lifting their head up, that's very painful. If you can think of the pressure that goes on the top of their head just from lifting their head up. Or if you're sitting there and your horse is yanking his head up, there's a lot of pressure becomes right on the pole here. You're riding maybe like a polo horse or whatever, and you want them to go right and they want to go left. That also is pain on their face, on the pole right here. So most of the time my work comes in for things like that. We can also do cranial work. Stop. Back up. We can do cranial work on the body as well. But like I said, I like to start at the head, and then I'll move my way to the neck. Then we'll move my way to the abdominal area, and then of course, last but not least, is the back end. Now the back end being a little bit more challenging because I'm going to need to actually stand and back your horse and put one hand on each side, and be a little challenging if your horse doesn't know who I am. So most of the time, most of my sessions with Tink are always in the front end, his neck, his face, his cranial area, his muzzle, and things like that, because that's where I find that he needs the most amount of sessions. But yeah, so I'm working through this with Tink. I've been doing all these sessions with him. It's actually been a great aid to my our relationship together. Back up. As a horseman, as a horsewoman, it's just really worked in a sense of, can you please stop? He's just being bad today. It's really helped in the sense of just us building a bigger relationship, a nicer connection, and also helping him if he's in pain, because we all know that our horses are our biggest athletes, and we have to do something for them just like they're doing for us. You know, they're sitting there letting us ride on their backs, which they don't even have to. So this is like reciprocity in the sense where I'm doing something for him, he's doing something for me, we're both getting something back. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe.